So there is a difference between sympathy and empathy, and there's appropriate times to use both. Hi, my name is Ariel, aka Dr. A. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I specialize in trauma, depression, and anxiety. So just to name off the definition, sympathy is when you acknowledge somebody else's pain, versus empathy is when you allow yourself to be in it with them and feel those same emotions that the person in front of you is feeling. Best way I can describe that without definition is, say you are looking down and you see somebody in a tunnel. And this is the way I explain it to my clients. So you see somebody in a tunnel, and sympathy would be, oh my gosh, that poor person, like, hey, do this and do this and do this to get yourself out of it. I can sympathize with their pain. Versus empathy is going down there with them in that tunnel and being like, all right, how do we get out of this together? I'm going to be in it with you. Empathy. It's good to know the difference between when you want to use these and how you're using them. So we can start with like something like relationships. It's good to use sympathy when you're acknowledging when your partner is communicating to you that they are hurt by maybe something that you've done and you don't understand the hurt. You can't feel it with them and be on that empathic side, but you can definitely acknowledge the pain that they have and have sympathy for what it is that they're saying. Versus the empathy side, where maybe said partner loses a loved one, and you can empathize with that because you also can be in it with them and feel that deep loss and hurt. It's going past acknowledging somebody else's pain because you also feel that as well. Typically, the deeper the connection, the more you're going to feel empathetic because empathy is based on deeper connections. Maybe you watch a movie and you get more emotional at a specific scene because you feel more connected to it. You can empathize with that. It's not just acknowledging the pain of what you're watching, you actually feel it in you as well, which creates that level of emotion. Versus maybe you see a homeless person on the street and you want to treat them to a meal or some groceries because you can sympathize with their situation even though you may not feel it, but you want to be able to lend a hand and de-stressing any way that you can. Sympathy versus empathy. While the two are different, you can have sympathy and empathy, but you can't have empathy without sympathy because empathy comes with that deeper connection. You're not going to see something and feel it with them without also being able to acknowledge their pain. So you can have sympathy and not have empathy. You can have sympathy and empathy, but you can't feel it on that level and then not be able to sympathize and acknowledge somebody else's pain. Shorter video for today, but I do think it's necessary to talk about sympathy and empathy. I think a lot of times in the therapy community, sympathy is talked about as a negative thing, and it's not, because you are able to acknowledge somebody else's pain, but that doesn't mean that you have to be able to go to the empathetic state and feel it with them, because that's not always going to happen for different situations, and that's completely fine. But recognize that they're not the same. You can have both. You can have sympathy and empathy, but you can't have empathy with sympathy. It just doesn't work like that. Think of some situations with family, friends, acquaintances, something you see on TV, something you see across the street that has no connection to you, and ask yourself, are you somebody who's able to sympathize and empathize? Do you lean more on one side than the other? And comment down below. I'd love to hear where you stand on it. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want, you can hit the notification bell so you never miss a video coming through every Sunday. As always, I always enjoy these therapy conversations with you. I look forward to the next one. Bye.